Alright, hello there and welcome to another After Effects tutorial, and in this one we are going to be looking at how to create a full pie chart. So you see that I have this outer ring here, and what I want to do is create a full pie chart, so I'm going to click off right here, and then I'm going to go ahead and grab my ellipse, and I'll give it a fill of this color, and I'll turn down the stroke for now, and I'm going to draw out this circle like this. Place it in the middle right there. Put your anchor point in the middle. So press Control Alt and Home for that. And I will align these two, so like that. And I will call this my pie background. Now notice what would happen if I was to add a trim paths to this. And I mess with the add. Notice how it's actually starting from this first vertex up here, and that's because we're using the fill for this. So the fill isn't going to work. We actually need to use the stroke. So I'm going to turn off this fill. So what we're going to do first is set this back to 100, and then we're going to bump up our stroke like this. Make it a little bit bigger. And then in the ellipse tool down here, you just make this smaller like that, and then you can bump this up again like that. Now notice if I was to adjust the trim paths again, I would have something like this. Now we have a problem because we have this spot right here, and to get rid of it we have to make our stroke size equal to the ellipse path size down here. So I'm going to make my ellipse path size 491, and notice how we don't have that outer part right there again. And just to make sure that it stays like this, we're going to open up the stroke, and we are actually going to parent our size to our stroke width. And now they are connected. So if I was to adjust my stroke up here, notice that the size changes as well. All right, good. And if I want to say adjust this, I have this. Awesome. All right, good. So I'm going to close this up by pressing Control A and then L. And then I'm just going to open up the trim paths. So right here, trim paths. And I will animate this. So I'll go to 15 frames and I will put it at, let's do 80%. Keyframe here, go to the beginning, and then this will be 0. Play it back, we have this. And with this as well, you can also play with your offset. So you could say put a keyframe here at 0. And then in the beginning, you can make this negative. So like that. And you have something like this. I'm just going to leave it at 0 though. So I'm going to delete this. Now I'm going to make this 100% actually. So double click 100. And we have this. And play it back. Awesome. Then I'm going to duplicate it. Control D. And I'm going to call this guy Pie. Change the color. And we'll give it a color of, let's do something like this right here. And then what we're going to do is we will just offset this a little bit. Let's do right about here. Yep. And we will give it a border, so we are going to duplicate this. And then we'll call this pie border. And we're going to change the color of this guy, so we are going to make it like this whitish, grayish color down here. And then on our original pie, we are going to make this guy a little bit smaller. So open up the scale by pressing S, drag this down just a little bit, and then bring the pie up to the top on top of the border. And if you scrub through, we have this. Make your pie a little bit bigger. Something like that. And we have this. I'm going to change the color of the border actually. So let's try this whitish color. Yeah. And for our pie and border, we'll actually change the N, and we'll make it 80. So double click, press 80. I'll make this one 82. Play it back. We have this. Cool. Now what you can do is you can add some controls to this if you want. So you can right click and you can make a null object, bring it up to the top. And then in your effects over here and type in control, select slider control, bring it on top. You're going to lock this right here so that it doesn't move when you click on your layers. And with the slider, we can make an animation with this. So right here, we could say put it at 0, go forward in time a few frames, and then set it to 100. And then you're just going to link your pie and your border to your slider control. So like this, and like this. So we have this. All right, now we can open this up a little bit and just see what's happening here. We can say adjust this. And then we can just open up our null and see the controllers. So this is what's controlling everything. Just bring this over back here actually, play it through. We have this. And I'm gonna have it end, we'll do 80. All right, good. Now you can add your text to this as we've done before. So I'm gonna do that really quickly. Now, if you want to make this a little bit nicer, you could say give it an outer glow. So pie, right click, layer styles, outer glow. And then in your outer glow down here, we're going to set this to normal. And then for the color, we'll make it like this darkish, grayish color right here. And here you can adjust the opacity of it. So it's a subtle difference, but we see it, especially on these edges. If I zoom in quickly, like that, you see it here. And you can just adjust it to how you want it to be. So if I play it back, we have this. And I'll make it, let's do 65. And you can adjust things like the size as well and the spread. So down here, you see we can spread it out down here if we want. And you can adjust the size of it like this. I'll leave it at that though. And the spread, I'll bring that down. And we'll turn down the opacity actually. Yeah. All right, guys. Now, lastly, I'm going to show you how to add a nice gradient to this. So click on your pie, right click, layer styles, gradient overlay. And then you're going to go down and you're going to open up the gradient overlay. And then you can just lower the opacity like this. And then we want to actually change the style to radial. And I'll turn this down a little bit more, like that. And then we're going to actually want to turn align with layer off. Now look what happens if I leave it on. Notice that it's starting and moving in a weird way. So that's not what we want. So we're going to turn this off. And now we have what we want. So that's how you can make a full pie chart in After Effects. Now we hope that you liked this video and that you will give it a try. And if you want to learn more, be sure to subscribe and we will see you in the next one. Until next time.